All right, so we just finished gapping the rings. We've got them all set, the top ring and the bottom ring. We did each one twice. Maggie looked back over and behind me, and then we went back and quality controlled them. Little QC mark on here, I'll show you. And then went back with some sandpaper and my finger and just made sure there was no like burrs or anything, and just got everything perfectly fine. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting those in the pistons and aligning them in the right order, and I'll show you that right now. All right, so we have some little animations here by the women. Pretty cool. But here is all the rings laid out. So what I did was just top, and it was checked by two people. So it was first check, other check, then the bottom ring, then clean them, and then quality control. And then we just went through all of that and just sanded them all down. I can't get that to focus, but all of them are good. They're smooth. There's no burrs. There's no anything wrong with them. And we got all those done. It took a little bit, but I mean, it's not that bad. So we were 33 degrees at the top and 35 in the second. So all of that's done and figured out. Now we're going to take and put them in the pistons. And this is the alignment that we have to use for all the rings. Align the little cracks in each of these holes. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so we got all the rings lined in the pistons. Everything's lined up good. We're gonna wait until tomorrow, and then I'll go ahead and set the pistons in. I need a ring compressor. I had to go to borrow one from a buddy. So we're gonna get all that done and put everything together. Get the basically rotating assembly will be done, then followed by the cam install. Then we do the heads and stuff, and oil pump timing, and then she's about done. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the pistons real quick, and then we'll go from there. So here are the pistons all laid out. Have the oil rings at the bottom, then the second ring and the top ring. The alignment there. Then you have that one that side. That one, the top one right there. The oil ring gap is on this side. Then there's the top ring gap. So that's how they're supposed to be. According to this little sheet right here, so that's exactly what I did. Went through all that, and like I said, we're gonna follow up with the next day, put all that stuff in there, and go from there. I'm gonna cover everything up and call it a night. What's up, guys? So it's piston night. I have got 2 pistons already set in the motor. I kind of did that off camera so I could just get a feel for it. Like I said, I did the S54, but I'm just not familiar with motor building. I just paint for a living. I don't do motors, but I just got all that figured out. I'm pretty comfortable with doing it. Had my dad help me earlier. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've got all the other ones here behind me. We have 3 through 8 left to do, and then the motor's over here. So I got those left to do. And just really gonna get to it. That's kind of the last thing to do. Just get the rings set up and just all align, then make sure I oil them really good and lube the bearings. Running King race bearings, so once I get all those in there, then just make sure everything's seated properly and make sure the motor still rotates. So all right, what's up, guys? So I've saved the last piston to kind of like give you a little in-depth look of everything that I do to it before it goes in the block and when it goes in the block, and just kind of a little in-depth thing on the last one. I didn't want to bore you doing it with all of them. There's really no point. So I'm gonna do the last one. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, so here we got my little bench over here, well, my toolbox rather, but here I have the number 8 pistons, the last one. So first thing I do, sorry, forgot I already took this off. So this was already on here in torque because they had plastic gauged and all this stuff at the machine shop. Took that cap off, and then I wiped these are ARP 8740s. I took and wiped them down, just some paper towel or whatever, and then I re-lubed them with the ARP assembly lube that comes with them. Then I took just a t-shirt because it doesn't have any lint or anything on it, and I wiped the inside of this with brake clean and the rag, and then I did it the same with the cap. And then after that I took a dry spot of it, a clean spot, and wiped it again to get any residue or anything off. Now this is completely my opinion. This is, well, not really an opinion, it's just the way I'm doing it. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm not saying I'm wrong. This is just how I'm doing it, so take that as you will. This is not this is how you build a LS motor. This is just Quade's experience doing it and kind of taking you guys an in-depth look, so keep that in mind. But Then after I get done with all this, what I'll do is take this is the bearing for the cap. I'll take and, because I'm doing this one person, I'll take and put 3 fingers in here to kind of get some leverage on this and leave it upside down, put some pressure on it so it won't fall. And then I'll take and spray brake clean on that again, wipe the back side of this, and then wipe it with the dry side. Then seat this in the cap, and the way you'll go about that is taking this little notch right there and lining it up with the notch on the cap, and you'll take and set it in there evenly, and then take kind of both your thumbs like this and push it down until it is flush with the top of the cap or rod over here. So there's that, and then after that we'll go into the next step, which is getting the rings aligned according to the paperwork that came on whatever pistons you're using, and then seating it in the motor, compressing the ring and putting it in there, then lining them up and torquing them. So, and then this one is for number 7. So as after you get the bearing seated in there like this, like I said, make sure it's flush. It won't focus. I apologize, won't focus very well. Once that's flush, then I take red line assembly lube and I take a bunch of it and just spread it everywhere on here. And then also in the bottom of the motor, I take and put the assembly lube on the crank. Okay, now over here, so we've got this rod sitting here as well as the other one. I'm going to take one hand, I'm not going to be able to film this, I don't have anybody right now, I'm sorry, but I'm going to take this and hold it to where it's centered on the crank, if that makes sense, and then take and gently tap the bottom until it slides all the way up and seats. Same with the other one, and then once those two are up, I'll take the caps and set those on there. I can probably film. So I've got these pushed up all the way and set, and I'm going to take the caps now. On the other ones, I took and drew a Sharpie line of like which end went to which, but these I didn't. But fortunately, you can see there's numbers. So these numbers are going to, if this one has numbers, nope. Oh, yeah, it does actually. All right, so that's the one that has numbers. So I'm going to put that one with that one. That's a silly way to do that, but that's what I got right now. Take these, place that one, place this one. Okay, now I will take wherever it went. This. It's gonna kind of be hard one-handed, but we're gonna do it. All right, I'm back ready to torque it. We're gonna try the fancy digital wrench, but it's broken. I have a defective one where the cap is messed up or whatever. It keeps cutting off in between torquing, so it's not good, but let's take that and go to 40. 0. Alrighty. Now we're going to take and try to torque this with this wrench without it cutting off, which is highly unlikely, but you know, we're going to try it. That one to 20. She's doing so far. So good so far. 20. 30. It's pretty. Oh, there she goes. Now we got to freaking come back over here. You got one more chance. Then I'm using the old-fashioned 40. .7, a little over. That's fine. Make sure it's seated on there. And there's that. Alrighty. Well, that is all of the pistons and everything, all seated in the block. Go ahead and still make sure she spins. She indeed does. Don't want to spin it a lot because there's oil in there, but it's not a lot. So anyway, that's that, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll do another video on the next part.